Hello, everybody, and welcome again to the next instalment, or the latest instalment, should I say, of the Elaborate Industry Insights. My name is Sean Moloney. I'm CEO of Elaborate Communications, and we've entitled this particular insight Navigating Maritime Events. We're sort of coming up to that very, very exciting time of the year when we all sort of get our suitcases packed and head off to some of these big conferences or exhibitions that are going on. Indeed, as at the time of recording this podcast, I'm getting ready to go out to the US over the weekend. Um, and why have we chosen this particular subject, navigating maritime events? I mean, and why is it so important? Well, just to sort of break it down, I suppose, in its simplest form, conferences and exhibitions. Let's start with conferences. As a speaker or potential speaker at a conference, and that's really what's very, very powerful, a powerful tool available to people within the shipping industry. You've got to choose the right conference, and I think somebody said to me there's around about 5,000 to 6,000 conferences, webinars, seminars going on in the international maritime and maritime related sector. So there's a lot to choose from, but you've also got to make sure that you choose the right conference. What do you want to get out of that conference? It's a lot of effort. Let's be serious about this in putting yourself forward, whether that's face to face. So you've got to prepare your speech in advance. You've got to book your time out. You're going to fly out to the venue, and you're going to be devoting a lot of time to that particular conference as opposed to doing a day job at your desk. So if you're doing all of that and there's a lot of expense involved, you've got to make sure you are picking the right conference and also picking the right topic, because you want to use the conference very much to position you or your company, in the particular light that you want to be portrayed at, and whether that's a thought leader or a particular proponent of blue sky thinking in a certain area. So choosing the right topic, choosing the right conference is important. And I suppose really ask yourself the question, can you present? Are you a good presenter? Are you one of these very, very fortunate people who walk up and down the stage and with a head microphone on, and they're really engaging with the audience and reaching out and getting that feedback? I always say that it's amazing when you listen to good broadcasters on radio, and you always get the impression that they're just talking to you, even though they're talking to millions of people. They have that innate ability to just communicate with you over the radio waves, and I think that's really what you want to try and achieve when actually delivering a conference speech, as opposed to just standing there with the typewritten speech in front of you, and you very, very occasionally glance up and then immediately glance down at your speech because you don't want to have any eye contact with the audience. So really, there are a lot of opportunities out there, and indeed something that elaborates that we do as well here with conference speaker training, and it's really, really important. But it's more about capitalizing on your strengths as opposed to trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not going to turn everybody into Laurence Olivier's overnight, and we're all going to be up there and or Richard Burton's and captivating our audience. It's not going to be like that at all. But it's about looking at what strengths you have as somebody who's presenting, and making sure that you stick to that and you get the best out of it. So really, that day on the conference side, that's very, very important. And then how do you follow it all up? You presumably you're going to be standing there giving some very, very important blue sky thinking about something. You can easily have a press release that would be sent out to the media as you are speaking, or some interaction on social media. Get somebody taking a photograph of you on stage with some emotive comment underneath with maybe a link to your speech. Look at ways. There's a lot of ways there that you can really capitalize on that very important time that you put aside to speak. And equally, when you're there as well, you're going to be in the presence of other leaders within your industry. So make sure that you maximize that time there. Not only the speakers themselves, but also the audience, and that's really important. I often say that when you've got a good audience in front of you, you've probably got people who are better qualified sitting there listening to you than a lot of the speakers up there on the podium. So really, there's a great opportunity to reach out to these people as well. And again, it's all about positioning yourself and getting the most out of it. And then we've also got the exhibitions, and we this year we'll be looking forward to a number of big exhibitions like Posidonia and SMA, etc., and APM and Singapore Maritime Week are coming up. So how do you navigate around these big exhibitions if you are an exhibitor or a visitor? And really, talking from an exhibitor's point of view, I've been to so many of these big shows over the years, and you walk up and down, and you just see these lonely figures sitting in these tiny little booths, catching up with their emails on their phones because there's not a lot of activity around there, and they're just hoping that somebody important is going to drop by and have a chat and maybe exchange a business card or whatever. So how's the best way to really sort of get the most out of an exhibition? You've got to do a lot of planning beforehand. It's not about just sitting there and hoping a fish is going to bite. It's about making sure that you're fishing where the fish are, and I think a lot of that is down to setting up meetings, planned meetings before the actual exhibition itself. So you'll have clients coming onto your stand, or you'll have the media coming on. You'll set up media appointments. And indeed, you might even use that time if you're in a place like Singapore or Oslo for North Shipping or Posidonia in Athens to go out and see people. That they're all there as well, but you've got to get those meetings planned in advance. To really maximise that return on investment. Again, exhibition that expense can be quite significant, not only in money but also in your time. So you want to make sure it's all accountable. How are you also using the press during the big exhibition? The one thing that these big shows do is they attract the world's media. So how are you maximising that? Are you having a press conference on your stand? Have you got a meeting set up with the media itself? Some interviews. They're all there. They're there to be. They're hungry for news and feature material. They're there to be used as well. And what about holding your own seminar or your own event during the exhibition itself? A lot of them have breakout rooms where you can hire for half an hour, and have your own event there as well. And that again can be very, very effective. But again, what are you going to do after that as well? Follow up on social media, press releases going out, all of that supportive media material there. And opportunities there to ensure that the event is a successful one. And I suppose really, just as a sort of last little aide-memoire on this, a number of sort of do's and don'ts. Always try and look good. You're on show. You are there as an ambassador of your organisation, but also be mindful. Certain parts of the world, don't insist you wear a jacket. Other times I've been into clients' offices or whatever in Singapore, and they said, Sean, you don't need to wear a jacket. It is quite warm here, So mindful of that, but also just be mindful of the fact that it's an opportunity to look your best and as you'd want to look. Don't forget your business cards. That's really, really important. And there's some really, really good things happening now. You've got the electronic cards where you just take a scan or a QR code picture of your business card. It's immediately put onto your contact onto your client's contact list or whatever, which is great. Plan any meetings you have. Plan and stick to them. Really, I guess there's nothing worse than turning up an hour late or whatever. Normal stuff. don't overdo the late night partying. I mean, the one thing about these shows that we all work harder, we play harder. These shows, there's a lot of um, receptions and really really good opportunities for networking and what have you. But they can go on very very late. So if you've got a meeting at 8:30 in the morning, leaving a really really good party at 3:30 in the morning, you've got to question whether you're going to be capable of being that strong person that you want to be at that meeting the next morning. And I suppose an obvious one, really, if you are visiting an exhibition and you're planning on doing a lot of walking, maybe some comfortable shoes. I mean, I've been caught out, wearing new shoes and they're pinching and what have you. And never forget one Posidonia, one of the Greek ship owners came up to me and he said, I'm going to be going around the show over the next couple of hours, and he was there in his trainers, and because he knew he'd be doing a lot of walking and running in and out and all the rest of it. So he was well prepared. So yeah, just thought a few little tips there and little pointers there as far as navigating maritime events. So, really enjoy having a chat with you on a regular basis, and look forward to catching up with you very soon. Thank you.